In this video, we're going to talk about Emory, the pros, the cons, and how to get in. Emory is a top 25 university. It's located in the suburbs of Atlanta, about 20 miles outside of the city. It's a mid-sized private university with about 7,000 undergraduates, and it's perhaps best known for the strength of its pre-med and public health programs, in addition to the fact that it is world-class research in a variety of health-related fields, everything from epidemiology to HIV research to cancer research, trauma studies, vaccines, behavioral science, etc. When you apply to Emory, you can apply to either Emory College, which is the main campus, or you can apply to Oxford College, which is a smaller campus about 45 minutes away. So what's the difference? Well, they're both part of Emory University, and when you graduate with the same degree, but it really depends on where you want to spend your first 2 years on campus. If you're on the main campus, then you're in the center of everything. You're close to Atlanta, about 15, 20 minutes away, and you also have all the graduate students there. You have about 3/4 of all undergraduates with you. You have all the medical buildings, etc. But if you're looking for a smaller kind of experience your first 2 years, you can also start off at the Oxford campus. And it's in a rural setting. There's only about 1,000 students total. Instead of having large lecture halls, you have very small discussion-based seminars, and you get to know your teachers really well, not only because your class sizes are smaller, but because those teachers specifically want to work with underclassmen. So it's really a question of what type of experience you want to have freshman and sophomore year. If you want to be in the middle of it all, you want to be closer to Atlanta, you want to be close to all the medical facilities, then you want to be on the main campus. But if you want like a more personalized experience, which gives you a chance to get to know all your classmates, maybe gives you a chance to have more leadership roles, then you might want to start off at Oxford College, and then after 2 years, you just transition to the main campus. What are some of the pros of Emory? The first pro is that Emory is one of the best colleges for both pre-med and pre-health. Emory's campus is literally right next door to some of the best medical facilities in the country, including Emory University Hospital, Emory School of Medicine, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, Winship Cancer Institute, Emory's National Research Primate Institute, and the CDC, which is the Centers for Disease Control. That means that undergraduates have unparalleled access to some of the best professors, labs, research opportunities, and shadowing opportunities that they'll find anywhere in the country. A second pro is access to Atlanta. Atlanta is one of the most dynamic cities in America. It's a thriving job market, particularly in areas such as tech, music, media, and healthcare. It has great culture. It has a lot of fantastic restaurants. It has great sport teams, and it's pretty easily accessible to campus. It's about a 15-minute car ride. Atlanta definitely does have its crime issues, but it's important to know that the campus at Emory and the surrounding area are both very safe. And it's also helpful to know that the Atlanta airport is the busiest airport in the world, which means it's extremely easy to fly into Emory from virtually anywhere. A third pro is the diversity. Like the city of Atlanta itself, Emory is known for having quite a bit of ethnic diversity. It has a large international population of about 15% and a large Black population of about 13%. It's also known for attracting a very large Jewish population that mostly comes from the New York area, and also has a very large Korean population. On the socioeconomic side of things, however, it should be known that Emory definitely has a reputation for attracting a lot of wealthy students. A fourth pro is Goizueta Business. Emory has one of the top 15 ranked undergraduate business programs in the country. You should know, however, that unlike most business programs, which are 4 years, Goizueta is only 2 years. So you first apply to get into Emory, and then your sophomore year on campus, you apply to become a part of the business program, which is typically your junior and senior year. You should know, however, that these kinds of delayed admissions programs often get a bad rap. At some other colleges like UNC, UVA, and Wake Forest, it can be very competitive to get into the business programs, and they often have an acceptance rate of less than 50%. But at Emory, virtually all students get into the program. They have about a 95% acceptance rate. All you have to do is complete some basic prerequisite courses and maintain a decent GPA. You should also know that Emory does admit a very small select group of students into its business program directly out of high school. These are called Goizueta Scholars, and they only take about 5 or 6 or 7 students every year. But if you are chosen for this, you can start taking business classes right away as a freshman, and it also comes with a very large merit-based scholarship. And a fifth pro is Emory Scholars. Emory has a highly selective honors program with about a 2% acceptance rate. Unlike at some other universities, you don't get special courses if you're part of the honors program, but you do get a lot of other perks. You get priority class registration, you get priority housing, you get access to exclusive seminars and field trips, and you get really large merit-based scholarships that can cover anywhere from half your tuition to giving you a full ride. There's no application or additional essays if you want to apply for these scholarships, but you should know that you absolutely have to apply to Emory by November. You have to check a box on the application that says you want to be considered for merit-based scholarships. And this is true whether you're applying ED1, ED2, or regular decision. What are some of the cons of Emory? Well, the first con is the Emory bubble. While it's said that Emory is located in Atlanta, it's really not. It's definitely located in the suburbs, about 15 to 20 minutes away. And there's not a lot of great public transportation that takes you directly from campus into the city. So it really helps to have a car. It's just worth knowing that a lot of students end up not taking advantage of Atlanta because it's kind of a hassle to get there. You really have to kind of give it some effort in planning. A second potential con is Claremont campus. Emory has its main campus, and then about a mile away is Claremont campus, which is where upperclassmen live and graduate students live. Claremont campus is actually really nice. There's apartment style living. They've got their own gym. They've got an outdoor Olympic-sized swimming pool, but you do have to shuttle back and forth to main campus to use the dining hall and to take all of your classes. And that can be kind of a hassle. It's about a 20-minute walk back and forth, or you can take a 5-minute shuttle. The third con is racial segregation. While Emory is undeniably diverse, students tend to self-segregate into their own groups. So when you go to the dining hall, for example, you're likely to see a white table, a black table, an Asian table, etc. The diversity is there. You just kind of need to go out of your way to mix with other students more. And the fourth con is the lack of social life. Emory students tend to be very focused and career-oriented. This is a school with a strong pre-professional vibe. The school does have an active Greek life, and about a third of students participate in fraternities or sororities. But outside of Greek life, students say that there's not always that much to do. It's also important to know that Emory doesn't have a football team, and there's not a lot of school spirit. So this is not one of those schools where, students all rally together and are unified for a common cause. It's one of those schools where you sometimes have to make your own fun. How to get into Emory. The first tip is to apply early decision. Emory gives you 3 admissions options: ED1, ED2, and regular decision. By far, ED1 gives you the best admissions odds. Students who apply ED1 get in at about a 30% acceptance rate versus only 12% for ED2 or 10% for regular decision. You should also know that Emory fills about 72% of its freshman class with ED candidates. That means if you wait to apply to Emory in the regular decision round, only about 30% of available seats are still remaining. The second tip is to apply to both campuses. As I mentioned, Emory is divided into Emory College, which is the main campus, and Oxford College, which is the satellite campus. It's important to know that these 2 colleges review your application independently. So they don't know if you're applying to the other one, and they don't care. If you apply to both campuses, you're basically doubling your chances of getting into Emory. And a lot of students want to start off on the main campus, and they're worried about applying to Oxford because they really don't want to go there. I would say just check that box anyway. It gives you a good backup option. And a third tip is to transfer. If you don't get accepted to Emory right away, you can always transfer in as a sophomore or as a junior. And Emory has a very high transfer acceptance rate of about 33%. You should know, however, that Oxford College doesn't accept transfers, so you'll only be transferring into the main campus. I hope this helps. If you have any questions for me or want to know about how to become a client, you can visit my website or email me directly.